Hey, 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 hey! It's too early. It's too early, I know, but it's too late, I know. Welcome to another episode of Unity versus Godot or Fiiish v3. So we're back to re-implementing Fiiish in Godot. We did the push on Unity. Let's get out of the way. We did a massive push on the Unity version, right? Again, Unity eating up all our time, but we added sound, we added music, we fixed the background transitions, which we already did in Godot. So that all that's missing is, and then we did a bit of polishing, just some minor polishing. So I want to have at least music and sound effects in Godot today. Let's see how far we go. And as a bonus, we have some Godot items here. Let's see how far we go. Side note, yesterday night I tried to build the project in Unity 6, and that was surprisingly painless, and it felt even faster, but used even more disk space. So let's see how this goes. And I haven't found it. So two things. Stream seems to be unstable. I don't know why. I don't have time to look into this because we have a hard timeline. 7 days left till one of these versions is good enough to be launchable. I mean, doesn't mean we will launch one of these versions, but let me fix the whoop. Better, but not good. Still. That doesn't mean we will launch one of these versions on Steam, but I want everything to be ready so we could launch them. And we have parity with Fiiish 2, which is Fiiish 1, which is Fiiish 0++. If you want to know the history, watch the what's the word? Watch the conclusion of the series, which is imminent. Actually, no. The series wrap up is imminent, but the conclusion will take me some time to produce. So, enough rambling. We're gonna add some music to Fiiish, right? And also, one of the polishing things, I want to get rid of these black bars, right? So if we do this, I want it to be higher, but still fill the viewport. And if we're gonna play like this, I don't want black bars here, right? I just want the background to extend. And full disclosure, I have no idea, right? And I want the virtual height to be 1024, and I don't care about much else. We'll figure it out. Let me check if we had this problem in the Unity version, right? When we died and opened the settings here, the settings were behind that system, that dialog, but that's fine. So that's good. Let's dive straight in. Today's probably gonna be a shorter stream because, you know, and we're gonna do the music, right? So let's create 2 folders here. And we made a massive mess here, right? We made a massive mess here, right? So let's create a music folder and let's create a sound folder. I'm not sure where my favorites are. My main scene here, right? Scenes, main, used to be in favorites. I don't know why. So let's open this in File Manager. And actually go to the assets folder, right? And open another one in. So this is assets. This is the assets we stole. We copied from V2. We cannot steal because it's ours, right? And the music actually is all mine because I created it from scratch. And the sounds, I also created them from scratch. That explains why some of them sound so abysmal, right? So, all dragged in. I never did music in Unity, in Godot, so I have no idea what I'm doing here, but the resources in here, right? So, So we have this and we have sound here. And again, we have the problem you probably can't hear. The problem is if I do, oh, maybe you do hear that. Do you? Let me. Did you hear that or not? So the problem is okay, what I have to do is, okay, we're gonna do this blind, right? Okay, what I have to do, I need to work on the audio. I never thought about it. Okay. So I don't hear what I'm doing now, which is not helping with testing. I don't hear what I'm doing. But do you hear what I'm doing? The problem is I can't even hear the monitor, so you hear what? How do we do this? I can't work on audio with a delay, right? I could give you the audio, then I don't have it. I can give myself the audio. Right? Like this, and hope that you just pick it up secondhand. We're gonna live with it for today. I'm sorry. I mean, the problem is, let me try something. Oh. So, we have a headphone output, right? Do we? It's built in so hard into. No, there's no headphone. Oh, I have the extreme, right? So, give me a second. I don't know what this looks like from behind. Right, so output, headphone controls. I do have an headphone output, so I'll be right back. How do we do this? Where are my headphones? My headphones are up there, so. Let's see. I mean, I'm gonna put this audio here. I'm gonna play this audio. So you have some music that's loud. Sound check. actually the mix is good. So if you hear loud, call 911. I'm not sure if I should do this. I'm gonna spare you the visual for this. Just gonna explain in a second. You know how they say sport is mort? Spurter is murder. Up there is where all my gear is, so I had to climb up there. But headphones acquired, and now let's mono plug. Uh-oh. 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 You haven't seen me wear these in a while, right? You haven't seen this in a while. I mean, unless we talk about this. Yeah. Let's see if we can get this to work, actually. I hate streaming with headphones, but where's the frickin' plug? Okay, back of the desk. Let's use selfie cam mode. So, rare view of my desk. There's a headphone jack. Test. I don't hear anything, so test. Test. Oh. Test. That would have been too easy, right? Give me a second. I'm actually gonna do this. Do this on screen. So audio test. So I want the mini on the headphone would be great, right? Can I get the test? No, nothing here. Hello. I mean, this would be perfect, right? But I'm hearing absolutely nothing. Test. Let's try, maybe this cable is broken. Let's try can I hit it? Hello? Oh, nice. That's, where's my window? Because now I hear myself, and I don't want to hear myself. I only want to hear the audio of the system. So I hear what I should be hearing now. So let's talk a bit over the audio to see if the volume is good for you. Then I run to the living room to check if that is fine, and then we see how that goes. Blah blah blah. Check 1 2 check 1 2 2 3 check 1. Let's run over there. That kind of seems to work, so I hear the system audio now, which is amazing. I could hear the music over there, and I could hear myself over there. So, job well done, let's call it that. Back to this, right? So I think I'm gonna add a child node, which is just a node, right? And we call this one managers. And I want the music manager under that, right? And I have no idea. Music, audio stream player. What's the difference? A positional. No, I just want a stream player, right? So, and the stream, I guess, is this. Playback type is stream. I don't want this autoplaying, and I don't want autoplay, but I want, can I say loop? Looping is, wait. Now let's play this. I want to test. If I pause the system, it's still playing, right? No. Let's try this. First time audio in Godot. So it's playing, that's a good sign. And it stops when I pause, right? So that's what I feared. So we want always. Always. So even if I stop the scene, the music keeps playing, right? And then I have to wire it up to this somehow. But that's a good start, right? So we have the audio player, and let's actually call this the music manager. Probably should call it jukebox, but we currently have only one sound, right? So I'm gonna remove the autoplay here. That means it will not automatically play. We want it dependent on the player settings, right? So we have the music manager. Do we actually... Yes, I want a script on this. I want a script on this, right? This is a music manager. It does nothing on ready. It does nothing on process. Well, we might, so we leave it in, right? But it definitely has a func fade in. Right? And it has a func fade out. Just the usual, right? And then we have to wire that up. And then I think the game will know about the music manager. So we're gonna wire this up, right? So we have an export var, and I still haven't decided on the this is actually a var of type music manager, right? Oh, yes, because I wish clicking here would class name music manager, right? So the game now knows about the music manager, so we just wire. Well, this is a music manager, right? And the game needs a music manager, right? I don't know why that didn't work. So the game now has a music manager, right? So after the player is loaded, right? After the player is loaded, so here we're gonna say music manager fade out real quick, right? And then I think the player the player actually had the is music enabled, right? Is music enabled. Okay. So the game says if we fade it out anyway to make sure we start off, right? If player dot is music enabled, then we say music manager fade in, and we do the usual 0.3 seconds, right? Just a quick fade in. So that's our initial state. And obviously the music manager now has to do something with that, right? And we're going to say, okay, if duration is smaller or equal than 0, right? Then var fade is float. It's fade. Fade is a bit weird in audio, but it's how much it is blended in, right? So if the duration is smaller or equal to 0, we just say the fade equals 0.0, right? And can we just do stop here? Right? This is the quick fade out. And then on fade in, right? If we have it, we just set it to this. And I'm not sure if we want. So we have a stop. Oh, it's play. So if it's not playing, we want to play it, right? So actually we want to set the stream to paused, right? We don't want to stop it. Right? And here we set the stream pause to true. Right? And in any case, we return if it was a quick fade, right? And in the other cases, we do the usual. So we have a fade speed, which is a float, which is 0.0, right? And we say if we have a fade in, then the fade speed is 1.0 divided by duration, right? And we avoided the divide by 0 by checking that. So this is a fade in, and this is a fade out. Very straightforward, right? And then in process, if fade speed is not 0.0 and comparing with floats, danger, right? Never do this at home. Otherwise, we do nothing, right? But then we say, okay. Fade plus equals fade speed times delta, right? Just fade it in or out. And then we say if fade is larger than 1.0, larger or exactly 1.0, we set the fade to 0, the fade speed, fade to 1.0, right? Just clip it. And we set the fade speed. We're done fading, right? I think we should encapsulate that into a fader component at some point. Else, if fade is smaller or equal than 0, we do the opposite, right? We set the fade to 0. We actually set the stream paused, right? We set the stream to paused, and we set the fade speed to 0. Is it elif? L. Go gd script else if. Is it elif? It's elif. I thought I tried elif and it said it didn't like that. Oh. That was the problem. Okay, so I'm pretty sure if we fade in, we want to set the stream to unpaused in any case, right? If we fade in, we turn it on. If it's a quick fade, we just set it to the maximum. Otherwise, we do the opposite. And obviously, what we also should do is, do we have a set volume? Volume dB equals, I'm not sure this is the fade, right? I'm not sure this is in dB, right? So sound and decibel. Linear to dB. Converts from linear energy to decibels, so from 0 to 1, right? So we can do linear to dB, which is pretty nice because I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do that calculation, right? Because 3D plus 3 dB is doubling the volume, or minus 3 dB is halving it, so that, no. So probably it's off, right? It was off, so let's turn it on and start again. Right, so the dialog here says it's on. It says unpausing stream, probably because it's not playing, right? So I think there are two layers of it there. So we check if it is playing, and otherwise we play from the start, right? So if not is play, wasn't it is playing? We just saw that, right? Is playing. If it's not playing, we just say play, right? And now it faded in, right? But if we start with a player who didn't want music, then it should not fade in, right? And it does not fade in. And if you have a player who has set it to, I want music, it starts and gives the player a chance to reach for the volume control in case they forgot, right? Don't blast instantly in. So that is fine. Obviously, we have to hook up the settings dialog now, right? So we have the game. We have the game, and I clicked in the wrong spot again. So we have the same problem, right? We have the UI and in the, not the HUD, in the, let's make this bigger. This probably should be its own scene, but we have, this is settings dialog, right? And we have the settings, this music container, right? That toggles the button and then emits the toggle state, and that is wired up to on music toggle toggled. Okay, this same discussion we had in Unity, right? We get the thing from the player, but what we actually should do in the game, we should have, so wait. I wish there was a go back button. So we're going to call this from the game, right? We're going to do this in the game. So the game gets an extra function that says player.enable music. And disable. All right, and while we are here, we're doing the same with sound. Sound. It's getting warm under these headphones, right? So the thing is, we're doing this so the settings dialog can say, hey, game enable music, right? And game disable music, and we still let them trigger the save. Maybe we don't. Maybe we don't, right? I could have just typed that. So that was not, this was the line I wanted, right? And this was the line I wanted. So let's do this and move the responsibility up to the game, right? Which doesn't change anything right now. Right? I mean, it still works as before. So all we need to do now is we know the music manager, right? We know the music manager, so we say music manager fade in, let's say 0.3, right? And fade out 0.3. And that's all we need to do, right? We have music. We go here. It fades out. It fades in. And it's the, and we can, we have this nice, it picks up the fade wherever it is, right? So that's why we didn't do a tween or anything. We could have done a tween, true. And this is our standard pattern, right? So music done. I think this is music done. The music manager probably has multiple streams later, and we unlock multiple streams. So that's why I want a manager there, and then it says, hey, pick the next stream at random, and then the player says, yeah, I hate that song, please don't play that, or loves that song. So let's play around a fish with music, right? My second screen is blinking at me. I have no idea why. So all of this is still working, right? Maybe there should be a death sound. Maybe, maybe not. That was awfully quick, right? Oh, maybe I just blinked and missed it. So that works nicely. And even in this dialog, right? I can important if the noise, if I have a call or whatever and don't find the other mute button. Maybe we add a button shortcut for music. Okay, so music done. Music in Godot done. That was quick, right? So 2024, 10, 23, 24. We're running out of days. I mean, right? Godot, Godot. Sorry, music, add music. I mean, that's all it is, right? So we're gonna say S01E24. Add music to Godot. And we touched the to-do. We added the music manager, right? We added the fade in, the fading. I hope I didn't miss anything. We moved the enable and disable, including the enable and disable sound, because that's next anyway, right? We added the theme to the music manager and added the music manager. That is fine with the audio stream player. We changed the settings dialog to call the game instead of the player, which makes more sense anyway, right? I want to stage this. All the sounds we added, right? I just want to check one more thing. Cause this here, right? So here's a nice thing about having an audio bus. How do I create a new bus? How do I create a new audio bus? Because we could create the audio bus for the sound effects and the UI effects and then have different mixes and okay, but I thought there might be encoding options or something. I mean, maybe we mix that to center, but it's fine for me now. So let's commit this. I'm not gonna push this. Not gonna push this because I don't want to trigger a build. Actually, do I want to try this. Because this will push out a new WebGL build and we can test if audio is working on the web, right? So that was music. Music was straightforward, right? Sound, we nearly hooked up, so why don't we have a sound manager, right? Why don't we? I'm not sure if I want to go this route. Yes, let's have a sound manager, right? So I add a child node and I mean, is it an audio stream player? Here's the thing, right? We will add these programmatically. And here we have this is nice, right? This is basically what we did manually in Unity here. Oh. let's see how we do this. But the sound manager itself is change type. It's just a node, right? And then we will add the audio managers under it. And I'm not sure yet how we will do that. We could just manually do that, right? What we could do is we could add a audio stream player and say this is coin pickup player, right? And then we just say, hey, this is the coin pickup, and I'm gonna do it like this for the moment. And we have, I don't know, 50 of these, right? 50 of these. Let's. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, that was not too bad, right? And the playback type is sample, right? Because okay, that's fine. So we add a script to the sound manager, right? And basically I'm gonna just copy the audio manager, right? This is a sound manager because we have the fade and everything. It's all the same, right? We don't have the stream stuff, right? And this extends node. So we don't have any of the stream stuff, right? So we need to do something about this. So I'm gonna leave this in as a reminder for us. Hey, clean this up, right? But the whole fading and everything is the same and probably just sets the audio level on the bus or on all children, right? So we're going to wire this up real quick to the game. Right? And actually the game now also gets sound manager, right? And we talked about that there's different ways of doing this. So this has a sound manager now. So the game can play sounds now, and the question is, how do we want to trigger them, right? So, to be honest, I want to do the same enum thing again. Remember what we did for the coins? Where is it? Scenes, right? We had the pickups, and we had the coin. There's a script on it, and that coin had a pickup effect, right? Had a pickup effect. And we had to do this ugly thing. Can we just open this file? Can we just open this somehow? Right, we had this because we wanted an enum. Let's do the same for sound effect. Maybe it should be a custom resource, actually. Let's go the enum route, right? Because we want to get done with this. And I think its pickup effect is here, right? So we create a new script and say sound effect. Let's use the same way. I'm not so happy about right, and the sound effects are, we just look at wait. Fish content, sound. So we just have the picked coin and the fish des. So let's use picked coin and fish des here, right? So picked coin and fish das. These are our two sound effects. And then if we look and go back into the pickup, right? No, not in the pickup. So I want the pickups actually to have a sound effect. Right, so we do this trick. I'm not so happy about this trick, but there was a reason we used it. So let's put that on the back burner, right? So that means our scenes for the pickups can have sound effects now, right? So if I go here, I can say, oh, maybe it should have been called, maybe it should have been called differently, and it looks like picked coin and fish das is the correct naming for this, right? Fair enough. So the pickup now has a sound effect, and we actually, yeah, none always makes sense, right? So if we go to the coin, it has a, did I mistype here? A sound effect is sound effect, right? So if I go here, I mean, here what? This is definitely a sound effect, right? Okay. Maybe it didn't realize when so this is picked coin, right? This is picked coin, and the fish das is manually. So in the game manager, right? At some point we pick up, and this needs cleanup. I'm sorry about this, but here we get the effect, right? And here we want to say, here we can do, right? So, okay. The pickup has an effect getter, so why don't we give it a sound effect getter? Bit of cleanup. So the game manager now can get the sound effect, right? And what does it do with it? So I'm gonna be cheap, because the game manager, right? The game manager, if I go to my main scene, well, actually, if I go in here, the game manager, right? The game manager does not know the game. So we need to come to a decision about communication, right? How do parts communicate with each other? And I think for now, we keep it pretty straightforward and say, okay, this here, we add a signal, right? So we add a signal, sound triggered, and that gets a sound effect, and we don't have a sound effect, right? So we're gonna call this sound effect and this sound effect, and I don't like this way. We need to find a better way to do enums, right? So we have a signal now in sound triggered with sound effect, right? And what if we give the game, actually we give a game on game manager sound triggered, right? And then this can say sound manager trigger effect. shouldn't it be this? Because it didn't know about sound effect, right? That's the problem with this way of doing enums. Right, and now we can trigger the sound effect. And then in the sound manager, just a tiny bit of cleanliness, and I'm not sure we have the final. So func trigger, and I'm not even sure about which style we want to use. Right, and we have the trigger it. Send D probably because it's a sound effect, right? And this also doesn't know about the sound effect, so let's copy this line to the... There has to be a better way to declare global enums. We will definitely need to understand that, right? So I'm not sure if I will see this debug line, right? So let's keep an eye here while we collect some coins. I'm not sure this will work. He should put a dummy coin at the beginning of the level. Yeah, so it's not triggered. So I'm gonna do two things, right? In game, in game, I'm just gonna put a coin here, right? So I'm just gonna, just for testing, just gonna drag a coin here, and actually I want that under pickups, right? Want that under pickups, and this sounds good. Let's see. Okay, because this coin here, right, has a set, is alive, is it magnetic, collect. This needs the game manager, right? Otherwise it will not move. So this here, why is the... Wait. Oh, this is not exported, right? So we can do this, and I hope everything else still works. So we instantly collect it, and let's just quickly check that we didn't mess up all the other. Bam, 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 bam. Looks like everything is still working, right? So, question. Why is the pickup not triggered? So in the game manager, right? In the game manager, because we didn't do it, right? We didn't do it. We did not do it. So we added the signal and never wired that up. So we have a sound triggered. We have a sound trigger dot emit with the sound effect, right? Then that should help. That should help. So let's try this again. Watch here. Why did the... Wait. So I have music. And sound effect triggered as well. So the sound manager now has control over sound, right? I don't know why the music stopped. Did I do something stupid in the... So here's the thing, right? We could create the players, and I think we're gonna do this, right? On ready, we're gonna create the children. So GD script create nodes at runtime, and we know how to do that, right? We know how to do that. Why is this Reddit? No. Wow. Because we spawn scenes, right? But can we spawn nodes? I mean, should this be a scene with an attached script, or should it just be a node? Probably it should be a whole scene, right? Probably we should have a sound player. And then we do load that, right? So what if we call this sound player, right? Reset this for the moment. Sample is fine. Let's actually set this to this. Add a script, sound player, right? To be done, and then say save branch as scene. Not sure if this is the best place. We still need to clean this up, right? So now it's a scene, and now just like in the game manager, we can do this, right? Not sure I want to do it. Maybe I want to do it exactly like this, right? Maybe I do. So the sound manager, right, has a sound effect for picked coin. I'm not so happy about the naming here. And then we need the entity config, right? Just like in the game manager, we need the entity config, right? This one here, which is hopefully, where's the entity config? This is an entity config. So do we do it like this? Yeah, we do it like this. So we create a new script, right? We create a new script and call it sound. No. Cause all the So I would love to encapsulate all of this in here, but we probably we'll do it slightly different. We'll do it slightly different. So what do we actually want? We have we have our sound configs, right? Which is a hash map. Map. So GD script hash map. Switch dictionary. They call it dictionary. Okay, so this is a dictionary, and can we add stuff to dictionaries? Okay, we can add to a dictionary. So what I actually want to do is onReady. I want to say sound config, and this is sound picked coin, right? I want to say this is, and this is not a sound config, right? This is a sound player. Players. So I create a helper, add sound player, and this gets the sound effect, which technically is the sound effect ID, right? That is the name. It gets the scene, which is, I don't know, let's say variant. Oh, which is a sound player, right? And this basically does this. To do. And then here we just say add sound player, and then we can extend that, right? And this is just like the game manager initialization. This is just it's preload, right? It's preload. I'm not sure I want to do it like this. I mean, it's always a sound player, right? So it's always a sound player, right? So it's always, where do we have it? Am I blind? It's always this, right? Thank you for the extra quotes that I have to unfix now. So it's always a sound player. What actually changes is the sound, right? So this is sound fish does. And yes, that has 2i. And yes, come on. One quote is enough, right? And this is not the scene. This is the clip file. This is the clip, right? And I'm not sure what type this is. Is this just a string? Is this just a string? So we preload the scene, right? Then we say scene dot, well, this is player, right? We call it player. Player dot load clip. Right, and this is just the player. And we say player dot set player dot parent. Where did we did that in the music manager? In the I forgot everything we learned about Godot scripts, so I am sorry about this. Oh, so we take the parent and say add child. So we add it to ourselves, right? So we say self dot add child player. And we don't care where, it's just and this needs to be of type sound player, right? And I hope sound player exists. No class name sound player. And this has a func load clip file string, right? Which does nothing for the moment. Does this all make sense? Will this crash? Will this work? Will it? We did something very bad, right? Cannot assign a value of packed scene with specified type. Okay. Oh, I think we need to instantiate it, right? We need to. Okay, this is just a preload, right? And the preload gives us a resource as a result, which still needs to be okay. Right, EC, where is it? We instantiated, right? We need to instantiate that. So we probably just preload the sound player once. Right, so var player equals right, and then we have a var. I wish it would backwards, and I really need to decide which format we. And here we do the preload, right? Sorry about that. We're figuring it out as we go. So we load the scene once, but we instantiate it multiple times, right? And this can be underscore because it's private, right? So, and then we can just duplicate this line and say fish des, and actually maybe this should have been picked coin anyway, right? So we add all our sound players at the beginning, and the nice thing is we can say, okay, what if we say we want 50 of this, 1 of this, right? We can just say, okay, amount is int. And we ignore that for the moment, but we could say player dot set amount to amount, right? And then in the sound player, we just go here and say func set amount int. And for now we do nothing, right? For now we just want to know, does it compile? It does compile. What? What the? What was that? When I command quit, I advance a frame. Right, so when I quit, whoa! What did we do? Okay, but our sound player scene, right? Our sound player scene. This, right? This has a script attached. That is a sound player. So the arrow said, oh, come on, the arrow is gone. That's not good, right? So and why is it called a gazillion times? Oh, we called it load clip. It's called load clip. Weird behavior, nonetheless, right? So, okay, this is working. So we're loading the sound players, right, into this array, and then we basically say when we trigger a sound effect, we want to say player equals. Can I check if it exists? Methods. Clear, erase, find, key, get. The question is, will the operator returns null? Null is fine, right? What does get return on failure? So we can just say sound players right, and then we say if player we do something. Right, we do something, and actually we say player.trigger, right? We just trigger it. And then in the sound player, we haven't done everything we need to do, right? Because we don't have a stream. So in load clip, we have to say stream equals file. Is it simple as that? Audio stream. How do we load an audio stream from a file? Godot load audio stream from resource. So we have a load pass. Oh, can we just do load? Can we just do load? Can we just do a load? Turns the resource. And then we can say stream equals, right? And then when we trigger it, we just say play. Could it? We're ignoring the separation and the maximum amount and the max polyphony, right? But I just want to hear one point, and I'm gonna turn off the music. Yeah, that's sound effect triggered, right? So we get to the sound manager. We get here, right? We get here, and it's actually sound players. Sound players. Let's check if a sound player actually triggers, right? I want this here, thank you. So it is actually triggered. Let's check the remote scene real quick, right? So we have the managers, we have the sound manager, we have 3 sound players. Let's move this out of the way. So this is the fish desk, and this is the picked coin. So, and this one is playing. Why don't we hear it? Why don't we hear it? Why don't we hear it? So it is playing. It is playing, but we don't hear it, right? So let's put a dummy sound in here. Oh. Okay, maybe we just set this to default and that's it, right? Let's try this again. Did you hear that coin? I mean, obviously we only have 1 coin now because we completely ignore the amount. Did I accidentally press space in the wrong screen? Sorry about that. So again, 1 sound. 1 sound. Let's see. Access to property. Okay. So maybe we do a get, right? Maybe we do a... Oh. Okay, because we're getting none. We got the magnet thingy, so we got a none. And there's a... It doesn't return null, it crashes, right? The documentation there is off. We hit that problem before in the zone spawning case. So right, the problem now is it kills the oldest song. Right? Every new coin kills the old coin, which is not good. Actually, what we're going to do, we're going to go to the main scene real quick, go into the game and cheat some more, right? Because we can just, let's just put a coin explosion here, right? And set the game. And actually, I want the coin explosion here and set the game manager, right? So I want lots of coins right in the beginning. Right, so you hear it's cutting off the sounds, and what I would prefer is if it's not playing new sounds, but also it ignores the amount, right? So when we say set amount, we probably, that's not the sound player. When we say set amount, right, we want, can you just please, we want here, right? We have a max polyphony, so we could just say max polyphony equals amount, right? And that So that means it works a lot better. But it still has a cutting off, right? And I want to say if too many sounds are playing, don't start the new one, right? So in the old mode, there was this oldest, right? Kill the oldest. Don't kill, well, it kills the oldest, which is nice, but I want the separation, minimum distance, and I want to not start a new one if we run out of slots, right? So I'm wondering if we can, if there's a way to get the number of sounds currently playing, right? That makes me sad. So I also want to set the separation, right? Remember we did that in Unity. Polish sound effects, we said we had the separation thing, this min separation, right? And we did set it to, I don't know where we set it actually. Min separation, sound config, onload complete, sound config. Where did the min, there, right? We had the min separation here and we had this min separation here. So we had 50 and the min separation. So we're just going to do the same. We're just going to do the same, right? So the sound manager, and this should come from a config file. Yes, so right, and the min separation here is 0.025. And the des we actually don't care about, right? But here we set min separation, and yes, I'm mixing and matching. Min separation. Can I please, right, and then we want a variable for that. And this defaults to null. And then let's have something that's called last trigger. Right, and on process, we just say last triggered plus equals the delta. Right, and on trigger, we say, we can remove this now. On trigger, we say, if last triggered is larger or equal than min separation, right? Then we play and set last triggered to, actually it's called this time since last triggered, right? And just for testing, we do the usual. We don't put, let's say every 3 seconds, right? Just to, so it triggers every 3 seconds. And if we set that to the real value now, it should trigger far less often and feel much more natural, right? So that's the Fiiish collection. I want explosion sounds, I want magnet sounds, I want rain sounds. and I'm not sure how we will do them. But that's, we also have fade in and fade out and all of that, right? So, but this is the old thing. So in game, right? In game, we have a on state changed, I guess. Yeah, this is not game. This is game. On fish state, right? So on dying, we say sound manager, trigger effect, sound effect, fish death. We probably should turn this off. So state respawning. Can you? Wow. It created documentation for us. And yes, this does not exist. This is more for later, right? So let me say func fade out effect. And we're gonna remove this, right? And we just gonna, and this is actually duration, which is our float, the standard, and we just say fade out duration, and we're not gonna implement that for now, right? This is just I really have to decide on style. For now, we just don't do anything. It's just, it's there and wired up for later, right? So let's see if we get a fish death sound. So we get the coins, and when we die, we get the dying sound, right? And it auto stops anyway, but that works. The thing that doesn't work is this, right? This here is not working. So, but this is easy to fix, right? We just go on disabled sound. When we disable sound, we just say, okay. So we say, if player is sound enabled, then we trigger it. Otherwise, we just stop it, right? And on disabled sound, we say sound manager fade out all, right? Just in case something is still running and that also doesn't exist, right? So we have fade out effect and we have fade out all. And this is basically, how do I do it for each? How do I do it for each? I have keys, values. I can do values, right? Returns a list of values. Can I do for player in sound players? Player dot, basically this, right? I'm not sure if I'm doing the syntax right. Wow. So we have sound, right? I disable the sound. And it wasn't fading out all the sounds, but it's not playing new sounds, right? And if I turn it back on, I should get new sounds now. So sounds done. What does the time say? The time says, let's commit this and then see what we do, right? And actually, I want to try something real quick. Because the web build should be ready, right? Because we triggered action here. If my network would be working. So we added music to Godot, and I want to see... Hallelujah! That just works. No. Nice. Nice. So let's check this commit. Oh, the to-do, right? So I'm starving. I'm sorry. Godot add SFX. That was quick. That was quick. So is it 24? It's 24. Add SFX to Godot. We changed the to-do. We added the sound to, and I really want more sounds, so this gives us flexibility. And again, whenever we do this, right, this should probably come from a config file spreadsheet, resource, something that is not hard-coded, but this already is a good start. So we preload the sound effect. Okay, this is for the sound effect IDs. We export the game manager so we can actually drag it in for testing, which is okay. Which I just will commit for now, which is fine. We have the sound effect getter for the pickup, right? Okay, this is fine. In the game, we have the sound manager, and we trigger the fish death on dying, and we call the fade out, which doesn't do anything right now on the, but it will be once we add the bubble blast on the. Actually, we're gonna do that next. I want to try that fade out, right? I want to try that fade out. Fadeable. Okay. Distracted during the commit. So, and we fade out all on disable sound, and we only trigger if sound is enabled. That's good. And then we changed the game scene for the 2 coins I put there for testing, and we added the game manager to those 2 coins, right? Yeah, that's fine. And the game manager knows about the sound effects, gets the signal, and can trigger. And I want to have a better system for triggering this, right? Right now we're calling and signaling, and I think signal up, call down should be the general pattern, but let's see how that evolves. The main scene, we added the sound player. You probably don't need that sound player here, right? Because we're spawning them at runtime, right? Yeah, we don't need that here, so let's not do that. So load steps, fine. We add the sound manager. That's what we want, right? We add the sound manager, the sound player, the scene, and the effect for the IDs. And that's audio in Godot. So I want to add one more sound effect, and even though we don't see it right now, there's a reason for that. So I want to add one more, right? And the sound effect is actually the bubble blast loop. So let's remove this and just drag it in. Right, and there is just one, and it's not that. It's not lookup. It's not the fish des. Can you just go here, please? Thank you. It's the bubble blast loop. Right, it's a bubble blast loop. I wish I could go back now, but I can't. So this is the bubble blast loop. And we're going to go to the game. And actually in the same, when we trigger this, right, we trigger the oops, bubble blast loop. And here, since it's looping, we actually have to fade it out, right? So in the sound manager, we need to give this loop flag. Right, so this is not looping. This probably should be an enum tool, but this one is looping, right? And let me say player set loop to loop. Probably it should be do loop, dollop, do loop, and set loop to. I can't click anymore. I have to call it a day. Right, and this is loop, and then basically, so we have a sound player, right? Where's our sound player? It's here. Here we have, do we have a loop? Do we have a loop? We don't have a... We don't have a loop. Okay, so... So we can check the finished signal, right? So you just say unfinished. So we have a variable loop as a bool equals false, right? But the set loop sets the loop to loop. And unfinished, we say if loop play. Careful, there's an edge case here, right? So no, actually, I think we're fine. So this is still working, right? I die. And you hear these bubbles in the background. That is because behind the board there will be bubbles, and it was so quiet here, right? But these bubbles don't stop, right? They don't stop. So we're already calling the fade out, but we're not doing anything here. And I'm gonna it's always the same, right? We probably should and fade in just doesn't exist. Fade in doesn't exist because it needs to be inside probably for the loop. So we need to set the fade, and I'm really strongly leaning towards starting to encapsulating that into a helper, right? Like a fader class or something. So we do this. This alone doesn't do anything in the set stream. So if we just do a stop here, right? We don't want it to start. And then we have the process here. Let's steal this, and then we're gonna adapt it, right? So I'm gonna say if actually we're never fading in, but I'm gonna leave this as is, right? And when we fade it out, I'm just gonna stop this. But this means on trigger, and this is fading all of them, right? So there's this polyphony. If there are multiple playing, actually, I think I'm gonna just implement the fade in. All right, let's just implement the fade in. And yes, I know mixed naming. And in this case, the fade in plays if it's not already playing. I think it just plays. Right, because then we can say I'm not so sure. This case is not so fade out is clear, right? I want to fade them all out and slowly, but fade in is what do I fade in? All of them? I don't think the fade in should have a play, right? It's just saying increase the volume, but don't do anything. But if we trigger it, and then we don't need to do this, right? Okay. This still works. We have the die and the bubbles. And the bubbles go away. And we have the die and the bubbles. And the bubbles go away, right? And now we disable the music sound. We don't have the coin sound. We do have the die and the bubbles. Why? Why do we have to... Oh. Oh, because the game ignores the... ignores the sound state, right? I mean, here we don't care really because we want them to be turned off in any case. Because somebody might, while we're, okay, this is going to be a nice edge case. So no sound, we die, no sound. All is good, right? We turn on the sound. We die sound. So the pause should not pause the, so we need to set the process to always, right, on the scene. Tiny details. We have sound. We die. We pause. The bubbles are still on, right? bubbles do not go away, right? We turned them off, but the bubbles do not go away. If I continue to play, it will not start new bubbles, right? But if the bubbles are on and I turn the sound off, nothing happens, right? So in the game, actually on disable sound, the fade out all, right? Should be triggered. And it should fade out all. All right, so let's see if this is triggering. I really need to remove the serializer. So let's see here, right? Okay, something is not wired up. Okay, let's remove the serializer noise, right? Because I think we have save file, we print all of this out, right? Let's make this a bit less noisy. So oh, and also the serializer has a writing U8. Let's remove that as well, right? But the fade out is definitely not triggered. Why is the fade out not triggered? Is disabled sound called? So settings dialog, right? Oh, we didn't fix that, right? We only fixed that for music. So we actually all we have to do is, and I'm going to be sneaky here, we route this through the game, right? And then we remove this here. If you don't disable it, it's not disabled. All right, so that's better. Oh. DD script for each. I saw this giving me the... I saw this for key in dictionary gives me the keys. What does values actually give me? Did I... Returns of list, the list of values in this dictionary. But that's what we want, right? Because the values is the sound player, right? I mean, oh, but only if we actually get the values, right? Okay, better. So sound is on, we die, we have to loop, listen for the bubbles, listen for the bubbles. The bubbles are gone, and they do not come back, right? And they do not come back. I'm pretty sure there's an edge case I missed somewhere. So this is the normal behavior. The user doesn't turn off the sound, right? They just fade out. And the thing is, when we spawn sounds while sound is off, right? And now we're dying, right? This doesn't trigger pending sounds. This only allows new sound effects. And for Fiiish that is okay, but imagine you have a game where background fire is crackling, and so we should probably have a way to, maybe we still spawn them anyway. Maybe we don't block on the game level and just play them with a volume of 0. Maybe we just fade out, right? Maybe we just fade out, but then we have 2 layers of fading, right? We have the user-controlled sound fading and the game-controlled. Imagine you have, I don't know, a fire, and that slowly goes down. The game wants to fade that out, and then the player turns on the audio, the sound effects, and it catches the fade, right? So we have 2 fades that need to get multiplied. But since we don't have that case in Fiiish, we bike shed that for now and solve it when it becomes a problem, because otherwise we solve everything right now. But this is much better handling, right? So let's commit this, and I still count that under improve SFX in Godot. Right, so we removed a bit of debug in the serializer, which is okay. We only trigger sound when they're actually playing. We have a way of looping sounds that actually go away when we want it, right? We have the loop count, and we do the... I'm not so happy about the... Where's the finish? Oh, this is a sound manager, right? So this is a loop handling. There's settings on the sound player. I'm not so happy about this. There should be a system-wide, hey, make this sound looped and do it right? We enable the stream player for good. So it's even when the game is paused, the sounds are playing, right? We remove the sound enabled and disabled handling from the player to the game, which is the same indirection, added the bubble blast loop. So I'm not going to push this because I want to check. And that was before the polishing. That was before the polishing. It's turned off. We have sound. We have the dash sound. We can turn off the music. This one button behavior might be a bit confusing, but right? We have sound only. The final dialogue needs some sound polish, but we keep that for later. I think we're going to disable the debug view down there because we don't need it anymore. We still don't have zones in we still don't have zones in the web version, which is fine. But we're gonna add that to the to-do, right? To-do Godot check why zones are missing in web builds. I'm gonna leave that. I'm not gonna commit that, but I'm gonna do the push. So we have the nice audio bubble blast, right? And hitting the 2-hour mark on the nose. I mean, literally exactamente. So 2 hours now. I'm gonna say this was a good day. I didn't expect this to go so well. Let's disable the debug UI. Let's disable the debug UI, right? So we get that to-do out of the way. I wondered where my main scene was, right? So debug UI is this down here. So let's do this, right? Problem solved. And we suddenly do have a game. And this sounds good. This feels good. Sound makes it so much more challenging. Not challenging, interesting. Juicy. This area catching these coins is always like, why do I go for that one extra coin? Yes. So let's put that in and remove debug UI. And that's removed for both of them. I don't remember when I did that for Unity, right? But we have sound effects. We have parity. We do have parity. There's still the issue of splash screen and store ready. And so we're going to do a bit of polishing tomorrow. I really would love to have scripting support. But scripting is... So scripting we're going to do a bit crazy. Because I don't want to rewrite scripting in Unity, C# and GDScript. I want one scripting language. And let's try a Rust library for that. Let's try to write a Rust library that handles scripting that runs in Unity and Godot. Oh my goodness. Did I just say that out loud? I think that sounds like a separate project in its own. So we're gonna... The thing is, I need the screenshots for the store, and the way to do the screenshots for the store... The easiest way is to write a screenshot script, right? So, Fiiish content. We had a scripting system here, right? Fiiish content, dummy data. So we had automated screenshots here, right? This is our file. This is our save, actually. We had scripting here. I'm pretty sure we had scripting. We had scripting somewhere here, right? Oh, this was interesting. We had scripts, right? Maybe that was a branch. Maybe that was on the branch. I want to know now. I want to know now. Wow. We had a season 2 app. Did we? We did do scripting, right? Oh, interesting. Build script, build release, build scripts. I thought we had scripting support in Fiiish. Am I dreaming this? Maybe I'm dreaming this. Oh, wait. Wait. I'll find it. We did have scripting support. So, okay. Enough talk about scripting support. We wanted to talk about the commit for this, right? So, remove debug UI. I mean, I mean, let's change the background color to the initial color, right? So it doesn't jump so badly. And bubbles also. So where do I get this color from? This is in our image, right? But where do I set the splash? BG color, right? So I want something like just eyeballing this here. Something like this. That was not too bad of a match, right? Okay, let's. I want to see something, right? Let's go to game. Let's go into the game, and we have the. Where's the background? There's the background, right? Let's stop the process. Disabled, right? So that means the background should not fade. So there's a slight glitch. So let's actually, okay, let's do that. Let's do this right. Let's do this right? Textures, backgrounds, background, show in file manager, open with GIMP, the finger on the blackout button. Okay, so I want this color, right? So this color is 197E 8E. Oh. 197E 8E. Slightly darker. I was slightly off, right? But I think that Godot overlay messes with it, but if you look closely, there's a better transition, right? And actually, while we're here, let's make sure we don't forget this, right? So we have our real background again. This is so hard to test. We need slow-mo motion, right? And we currently don't have a splash screen. So the thing is, in the assets of the game, I wonder if fish content, we have background, right? It's not helping. We have decorations. We have the fish animation. We have the icon, which is a good start. I'll probably take that and clean that up and remove the noise around it. We don't actually have the stream overlay. We have that plank, which is good. We have the animated fish, which doesn't help. So we don't have a single file of the fish logo, right? So I'm talking about, oh. Okay, let's do that again. I am talking about, let's do this quick, about this, right? It's loading so fast, but we have the fish logo on a plank and the nice, I have no idea where that asset is. I'll find it. I'll find it. Enough distraction. Actually, what if we say image? I don't want the, maybe we just go for the, for this, right? Too low resolution. I hope it will set it to the middle of the screen. That's good enough. I'll do a screen, right? I'm gonna add that to the to-do list, and I'm not gonna do the art on create splash, add splash image, and in Unity we can't do that anyway because license. So let's do a quick add the splash image, crossfade between toggle buttons. I think that is working, right? I think the fade curves are not ideal. But that is working, right? The way we do the toggle buttons is wrong anyway, so let's park this for future maybe. Fix the debug camera frame. We don't need that anymore since the debug thing is gone, right? We might do this in the future. So this is definitely for the web build, and we actually want to create a demo build, right? So we're not going to do this. We're not going to do the improved DES because, well, we might do a slight pass on the DES timing. I'm not going to do the script support because I think how to do cross-platform Rust in Unity and Godot at the same time with a clean callback interface. That's an exercise in its own. And the animate seaweed in code goes under future maybe, right? We're getting ready to launch a build, so I want to have a cut of well, maybe I'm gonna do it like this, right? And then we 3.0.0. Right, this is with and the date is right, target, and that means a version that could be released. I don't want to release it yet. I don't want to do a early access on Steam. I might do a early version on Steam on itch.io, but for that I need a demo build. So, but we're gonna try to minimize the work we have to do. I think the splash image is important because it's the first thing the player sees. The web build is important for the demo because I want the playable demo out on the website so people can try it and have some fun. And then we declare v3, right? And this, we still have the fish swims too far and it takes too long. So we might do a minor cleanup around there. So much for exactly 2 hours, right? Polish splash color in Godot. Yeah, I know. And we update it to do, right? So interesting. So while this builds, I will play some fish. I can play fish here. But it's nice that the debug thing is good. Oh, we have to fix the layout of the screen. I don't want the black bars, right? I just wanted to... I want this to be here and this to be here and the background to extend. And I think there's a off by 1 pixel actually here. So... I want the auto collision avoidance sheet so the fish just swims forever, right? And I want a screenshot mode. And I'll come up with a list of stuff to do. Thanks for being here and helping me get Fiiish release ready. We're getting there. We are getting there. So stay safe, have fun, bye-bye.